Well, again, welcome. Welcome to the 2012 Rally for Midwifery Care.
Thank you all for being out here today. Again, I recognize some faces who were out here last year.
I am here to extend a hand of support to my sister midwives, to the families they care for, and for all the midwives and families in Oregon that you represent.
Truly, like I said, appreciate that you guys have taken the time to come to your people's capital and share your concerns and your views with members of the legislature.
We spend more than any other country in the world on maternal health care, but our odds of dying are greater here than in 49 other countries. It's become so bad that Amnesty International has declared our maternal health care system to be a human rights crisis. A human rights crisis here in America for our mothers and our babies. How can this be?
And the neonatal mortality rate is 34th in the world, even though we're one of the countries that spends the most on healthcare. We're actually the country that spends the most on healthcare in the entire world.
Birth is dangerous, we know this. It's becoming more dangerous. Our odds of dying have doubled in the last 20 years.
And almost all of the babies in our country are born in hospital, and yet we have these high rates of infant mortality, neonatal mortality, and maternal mortality. And we know that around the world and in the US, midwives can be part of the solution to these high rates.
The World Health Organization sort of summed it up for me when I started midwifery. Their recommendation years ago, which has been reaffirmed regularly, is that the safest place for a healthy woman with a low-risk pregnancy to birth is in her home or an out-of-hospital birth center attended by a skilled midwife.
Out-of-hospital birth with a midwife costs less than half that of a hospital birth.
My midwives addressed my concerns, offered all the same testing that I would receive in a doctor's office.
I've been doing this for 38 years. I've been standing beside, under, over women giving birth.
I think it's time that we start thinking about midwifery as a whole, not just home birth midwifery, birth center midwifery, hospital midwifery.
Our midwives gave us support and care to birth at home in the old way.
No matter how hard we try, and no matter where you give birth, if it's in a hospital or a home birth, it does have some risks, and there's always a chance that you will have loss.
When we face death, when it is our lives on the line, nobody has the right to tell us where, how, and under what terms we face this battle. No one.
We have certainly been birthing babies as women in this world since long before there was organized government. So kind of one of those things where I'm like, really, we're trying to tell people how to do this.
We uphold the autonomy of all childbearing women.
They want to schedule a C-section, that is the right decision for them. If they want to have their baby on the floor in their kitchen, that is the right decision for them. And so that is what I think everyone here is asking for. We're not saying that everyone needs to go to a midwife.
Birth is a normal event, and yes, it does include risk, but this normal event with its inherent risk belongs to women and families, and they must have the right to choose where and with whom they give birth. No law should be created that limits this freedom for Oregon families.
What do I think of when I think of my choice to have a midwife? And the first word out of my mouth was choice. You know, I could choose where I wanted to birth, how I wanted to birth.
As someone who serves on the House Healthcare Committee and somebody who has had 3 hospital births by choice, I recognize the value of safe choices for all families and to take something that is truly a personal experience and decision for your families and be able to make sure that you have the options and the freedom to choose how you want to birth your child and how you want to bring your children into the world.
Because legislators like this believe in women like me, because they stand behind my right, my constitutional right to bodily integrity and privacy, I had a choice. And I chose a midwife. I chose the most wonderful midwife.
We visited birth centers, we visited doctors, we visited hospitals, and it felt, where we had our baby felt right to me.
We recognize and affirm the value of physiologic birth for women, babies, families, and society.
Maybe you're a natural loving hippie who wants to give birth with your whole family, your best friend, your doula, your shaman, and your yoga instructor.
We have also chosen to have our babies the old way, choosing home birth with wise and loving midwives.
They helped me foster the belief that my body would know what to do and that they were there just as guardians of safety in the very unlikely event that something went wrong and that me and my baby would need emergency treatment.
I imagined that I would be graceful, that I would open like a flower and a baby would just emerge.
I was like most women raised in this culture. I was afraid of the pain. I thought that I would never get through it without an epidural, and I was terrified that something would go horribly wrong and I'd need an emergency C-section.
There were complications that came up, but they had the ability to deal with it there.
I whined, I begged for drugs, and that midwife who I thought was so wonderful, she brought ice chips. Ice chips are not drugs.
I remember witnessing my son's birth in our dining room. He was born in water. I saw him take his first breath, life outside his mother beginning in that moment.
It was the most exquisite pleasure I have ever felt.
I had a blissfully uneventful, boring water birth.
It is clear that nature provides a miracle in the human body to birth new life and provides all that we need to do it safely.
I found empowerment in my out-of-hospital birth experience.
In my opinion, I avoided a lot of complications because of their wisdom that they passed on to me. And so with that said, I appreciate the midwives that came into my life.
It is because of a midwifery model of care, it is because of midwives like you, that women like me will face this, the most important women's rights issues of our time, and succeed.
Gifts you have brought to my life, and I humbly confess every day I am blessed by my mother's, my sister, midwife. Mothers, sisters, daughters of all, midwife, oh sweet ones, my friends, may the Lord bless you every breath that you breathe, for how precious the life you have given us all. May your strength and your dignity clothe you with grace. May the works of your hands excel. May your heart of compassion return in like fashion, as in service to others you give of yourself. Oh, mothers, sisters, daughters of all, midwife, oh sweet ones, my friends, may the Lord bless you every breath that you breathe, for how precious the life you have given us all. to the future with joy. May you teach all the children true lessons of kindness and share with them wisdom the world can